Hi, it's Monica here from Little Painted Nest. I'm just redoing this sweet little chair right here. Well, you can see it's got no spindles. The spindles fell off. But you can see that it's got already a painted white base. So I thought I'd just put together a really quick video to just describe to you how you can take a chair that is already painted in, in this one in particular is white, but how you can take it from sort of this shiny, sort of acrylic kind of color. You can dull it down a little bit and do a little bit of distressing on it, and without having to paint the whole thing. And then on the top here, I'm going to restain the top and darken it. And then you'll have to wait and see what I do with these empty holes here to make it kind of fun and functional and kind of funky. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to do. So what I use is 150 grit sandpaper. This is wonderful sandpaper. I buy it at Sherwin-Williams. You can pick it up, I think, some places at Walmart. Here it is in the package here. So this is what it looks like. It's made by 3M. But what's fantastic about that is you can cut off the size that you need, and it's flexible. So it is perfect for doing round surfaces where you can get in there. I'll show you here, and you can just really get it to fit around the edges. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm sanding these legs down, taking off the sheen, and then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do this is 150 or 120 grit coarse sandpaper, and I'm going to distress it a bit. One of the tricks with distressing to really get it to look natural is that if you go with it like this, that would be a natural way that this chair would get natural wearing on these edges. You can do it this way as well, but I find even on the vertical surface, if you do it up and down like this, you're going to get this nice distressing on the curved areas, and it's really going to hit the high points and be quite natural. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm dulling down the white that's already been painted on the bottom, and dulling it down, and I'm distressing it a bit here as I go, just to give a little bit of character. And then I'm going to be staining the top. So stay tuned. All right, so here I am with this chair again, and I've gone ahead and I've done the distressing that I wanted to do. But I just wanted to show you how when I did my distressing, and often this will happen when you're working with a white or a light color, is if you find the distressing is there's too much of a contrast, what I often do is I will dry brush over top. As you can see here, I will actually dry brush the same color over top once I've done my distressing. And what that does is you can see that it just softens that back so that I don't have such a bright sort of contrast against such a light color like white. But it gives it a nice sort of worn, naturally sort of worn and distressed, and it kind of just tones it back, if that makes any sense. So I've gone outside and I've sanded down the top of this chair, and you know what? Often when I'm sanding and working with a piece, I'm not, I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want to do, but sometimes I'm not always 100% set on that, and I kind of wait to see what the wood's going to do and what it's going to reveal and how my sanding affects the wood and whatnot. And honestly, I kind of like the color and the tone that came from this chair. It was really, that high gloss, lacquered honey oak color. And now it's just kind of dulled back. And, I could put a stain on it and whatnot. But honestly, I kind of just like that there's a contrast, as you can see here, between the edge, and it's not perfect. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect when it comes to sanding back to your wood grain. I don't try and go for perfection often. I let the other color that maybe it was a dark, dark mahogany finish or whatever, and it settles, maybe this isn't a good example, but it kind of will settle on the trim or whatnot, and I kind of leave it there as the darkness and whatnot. as if I was adding, you know, because otherwise, you know, you're adding dark waxes and whatnot to create the same effect. So why not just use what the wood already is doing for you? So here it is. So I, you know, like I said, I kind of like the tone of it. I think it's modern. It's a modern sort of, you know, that farmhouse kind of wood tone. So I think I'm just going to leave it, and I'll just wax it and just give it a quick little wax to seal it up. But here's what the plan is I have this rope that I'm going to thread. I'm going to thread into my holes here. You see all my holes where the spindles were? I'm going to thread this jute through the holes. So that's what's up next. Okay, so I have waxed the top of the chair here, and it's kind of ready to go. And we'll get the legs waxed up as well. I'm just letting that paint dry just a bit. I can do that right at the very end. But here we go. All right, so what I've done is I've taken my jute, I've knotted off one end. There is the black electrical tape on the end, which I will cut off, and then I'll seal the end and then retape this section of it here in a better color than black. But anyways, it's really important with this jute, whenever you're working with the jute, is just to tape off your ends here to keep it from fraying while you're working with it. And then you can deal with sealing it up with some glue or whatnot, and then tape, and then that kind of finishes it off. So as you can see, I've knotted one end. So I'm just gonna let that drop. And then I've got just the other regular end here. So I'm gonna go up from the bottom here. It's always hard to video and do something at the same time, but I'm going to go up from the bottom here, and I'm going to pull my jute through, and that's going to leave, as you can see here, that's going to leave that knot at the bottom. And I think I picked up about 6 feet of this heavy jute from our local hardware store. They have it on the roll, and so they just cut it for you. So I think I grabbed about 6 feet. I figured that would be enough. All right, so I'm going to pull it through and take out any kind of, you know, let it so that it's not twisted. So make sure you've got it so it lays nice and untwisted. Now your first section here, you're going to leave that almost like a handle. So you're going to decide what you want to see as a finish, like how much of that do you want to see sticking out. So I think that's about right for me. I think I like that. So there we go there. Now I'm just gonna pick up, now I'm just gonna pick up my other end here, and I'm gonna go up through the bottom hole. And I'm gonna continue, sorry, it's hard to hold and do stuff. You can see all the little wood chip pieces. Now what we did do is I did have my husband, after the spindles, we pulled out spindles, kind of wiggled until they came out, and then I had him take a drill bit that was just slightly larger than the hole and just drill down just to clean out the hole, so that I knew I could get my jute threaded through nice and easy. So pull up on your jute so that it sits, you can see it here, so that it sits as tight as you can get it to sit to the chair base underneath here. See how it's sitting right here? So pull up on that jute as hard as you can, push on it, pull up on it, but not pulling out your loop that you've left here. All right, so then now this one, you're going to go down from the top. You can kind of see what I'm going for here, hey? Isn't that kind of cool? I'm actually kind of really excited about it, because these chairs, these cute little farmhouse chairs, you know what, you can find them, or maybe you have some at home. Maybe, you know, it seems like people have 1 or 2, or they've broken over the years, and, you know, and they just, you know, put them into the garage, and they become kind of dumped in the garage or whatnot, or just given away or put in a garage sale. But you know what? This is a great little nest for less idea that I love. Quick little DIY overhauls that can take a piece of furniture from one thing to another, And you know what? It makes it usable again, and it's modern, and it gives it just a new lease on life, and can be enjoyed in a new way for years to come. So you can see what I'm doing as I'm threading this down and then up, and I'll continue on till I get to the other end, and we'll see what the finish looks like. All right, final step here. So what I've done is I've gone and used my heavy duty X-Acto knife and cut the extra jute off. So basically all you want to do is when you get to this end piece is do your final loop down and then kind of eyeball and measure to make sure that it feels like the looping is the same size. And then I just kind of like hold my finger, you know, kind of where that knot needs to sit against the bottom of the chair there. And I just kind of hold my finger, pull it down, make your knot kind of where your finger is. And again, not too tight because that can be adjusted. But once you get where you go up and you look and you think, yep, that's about right. And then just really tighten up that knot and keep pulling on it and make it so it's nice and tight. Then what I've done is I went ahead and I sealed up my edges. So they just need some time to dry. But I've put clear glue on my edges here. And those will dry up and keep those edges from fraying and seal them up. Because this is jute, I wouldn't burn the edges because it's a natural fiber. If this was a nylon cord, sometimes you know how you work with that poly sort of nylon cord, you can take a lighter and kind of burn the edges and that seals up the edges. But in this case, because it's natural, we don't want to start a fire, we're just going to use some glue. It doesn't need to be like a hot glue or anything like that. The glue that I use, I find at the Dollar Tree. This stuff here actually is quite good. It's quick setting, machine washable, dries clear. It's actually a really good fast drying craft glue if you're ever looking for a fast dry crafting glue for any projects. I always keep some of that on hand. But yeah, that was it. So I've cut the edges, pulled them up, and what a cute looking stool. So again, great way to repurpose a farmhouse stool that maybe has seen better days and maybe is a little broken down, or you just need you just want to revamp it and want a quick little DIY project. You know what? Little chairs like this, little stools, little chairs like this are great at the end of the bed. You know, maybe just in the bedroom, in a kid's bedroom, maybe at the entryway to put a little basket. You could put a little basket sitting underneath because of the rails there in your entryway, and then maybe a mirror or a plant or something. Yeah, they're just great. They just completely change the look. So I hope you like this quick little DIY video. And shoot me a comment if you're going to try it, or if you do, send me a picture and ask me any questions. Hi, it's Monica here from Little Painted Nest. I'm just redoing